Welcome to Pattern and Craft. I'm Courtney, and in today's video I wanted to show you how to make the border that I did around this recently designed crochet square. Don't worry, I will be doing a tutorial on the square itself in the future, but today I wanted to focus on showing how to create this border because you can put this border on any crochet square that you have made. So I wanted to show how to make that. I also want to give you a little close-up. So this is made with a stitch that is a little bit different. If you are a more loose crocheter, you could probably use double crochet, but I actually am a tight crocheter, so I used extended double crochet for my stitches on this border so that I would have a little bit larger spaces. I'm calling this border a open fan border because it has spaces between each of the stitches. You might have seen a similar border called the shell stitch. That would be 5 double crochets contiguous, but this is 3 double crochets with chain ones between and then 5 at the corners. So I wanted to show you how to make this, and you can add it to anything you like. I do like to work it into a half double crochet row. You could still work it into any stitch you want, double crochet, single crochet. However, I wouldn't recommend single crochet if you have an even amount of stitches on the edge of your square. I would only use single crochet as the edge of your square and then use this border if you have an odd number of stitches. And actually you have to have a multiple of 6 stitches along your edge if you have an even amount of stitches along the edge of your square, or if you have an odd number, it needs to be a multiple of 6 minus 1 and you'll be working into the stitches. You can see I have an even amount of stitches, so I'm working in between my stitches rather than into the tops of them. So I just wanted to note that. And I'm talking about the stitches along the edge of your square, not the chain spaces themselves. So when you're doing your count, you're gonna want a multiple of 6 stitches themselves, not counting the chain space for even, and multiples of 6 minus 1 for an odd number. Oh, by the way, if you do not have the right amount of stitches on the edge of your project, you can just add rows until you do. So say you have 36 stitches along the side of your project, that's perfect. But say you only had 32 stitches, then you would want to work another row of half double crochet, and that would add 2 stitches at each corner, so you would have a total of 4 more stitches, so that would bring you to 36 stitches. So that would be, if you don't have a multiple of 6 or 6 minus 1 on your edge of your square, you would simply add additional rows until you have the math right. I hope that makes sense. And then also the cool thing I'm going to show you, besides just making the border, I also did want to show you, it looks really beautiful as a contrast color border. So here I've done white on top of this bark color, and that gives a really nice effect too. So you could use tonal, you could use contrast, you could also make this last row of stitches your contrast color if you didn't want to have this sort of jagged look, but I think that's quite pretty, honestly. So I also will be showing you in this video how to join these, because if you're just using it as a final border, you won't need to worry about that. But if you were to make this square, for example, and then you wanted to make more of this square and then join them, you could end your stitches there or there at a point that's a straight line, and then join them and then add your border. But you can also join with this scalloped edge, with this open fan edge, and you can do that with a technique that I saw on a video by Mima Makes. I will list it in the description so that you can go check out her video as well. And she did this same join technique that I'm going to use to join my 2 borders. She used it on a granny square tutorial joining video, and she used it joining in the chain spaces, but this is going to be joined in the stitch, because if you look closely, where you're going to want to join it is at the point of this fan. And you'll notice I don't have chain spaces at the tip of the fan. I have a stitch because I have a stitch in the middle of my fan. So you wouldn't use her technique exactly because she's doing this similar technique but joining in the chain spaces. But I'm gonna actually be joining in the stitch. So I'll show you how to do that. But first I want to show you how to do the border itself. And then if you'd like to learn how to join it, it's a join as you go technique, I can show you that after I show you how to make the border. Okay, for the purposes of this video, I've made some sample squares, and they're just, they have 12 stitches at each side, except for this square. I put a little marker there, but it's gonna have 11 stitches in this side, so I can show you how to do the version that's the odd count. So anyway, I'll start with this one and work all the way around, and then on the fourth round, or the fourth side, I'll show you how to work if you're doing the odd count version, but I'll show you the even count version first. So because my squares have 12 stitches along the side, that's perfect because 12 divided by 6 is 2, so we have two multiples of 6, so we can do our border. And for this video, I'm using the Cotton Sprout yarn. It's 100% cotton DK weight, and I'm using a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook made by Clover. It's the Clover Amour crochet hook. That doesn't really matter. You can use whatever yarn and whatever hook matches your yarn. I just like when people mention what they're using in the video in case I like the looks of what they're using, and then I can get that same thing. All right, so I'm gonna start in this corner, and then I'm gonna go around the sides that are even, and then I'll show you the odd at the last round. So to get started, I'm gonna start with a standing stitch. So to make a standing stitch, that's just an alternative to slip stitch and chain to start your new color. So I'm going to make a slip knot, put my slip knot on my hook, and then I'm going to make an extended double crochet, or if you are a looser crocheter, you could just make a standard double crochet. Either way, you're gonna have your slip knot on your hook. You're gonna loop over, but hold your finger there so you don't lose it. So I'm gonna show you that again. You're gonna have your slip knot on your hook, yarn over, and keep your finger there so that you don't lose your yarn over. You're going to insert your hook into any chain space, pull up a loop, yarn over, and then if you were doing regular double crochet, you just pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're doing extended double crochet, so we're going to pull through just 1 loop, then yarn over and pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2. So you're essentially making a double crochet with a chain 1 at the bottom. Now we're going to make that chain 1 between our stitches, yarn over again to make our next stitch, into the corner, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Chain 1 again. We're going to be making, since it's the corner, we're going to be making 5 stitches into the corner, each with a chain 1 between them. And they're all going to be extended double crochet, or if you so choose, double crochet. So I'm going to make my third extended double crochet. Remember, you only pull through 1 the first time, then it's pull through 2, then it's pull through 2. Chain 1, make our 4th extended double crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, pull through 2, pull through 2. Chain 1, and again, make 1 more extended double crochet because we need 1, 2, 3, 4, we need a 5th one. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I have my corner now, so I have 5 stitches into the corner, each separated by a chain 1. That makes that open fan look. Next, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to count. So remember, when we're working on even stitch sides, we're going to work between the stitches, not into the stitch. So normally when you work into the top loops of a stitch. We're not going to be doing that today. We're going to be working in between the stitches. So you want to get in that space there. So I'm going to count 3 stitches. I'm going to basically skip 3 stitches. Oops, I don't need to yarn over because I'm making a single crochet. So I want to go into this space after I've skipped 3 stitches, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 for a single crochet. Then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to count 3 more stitches, 1, 2, 3, and work between these stitches. And you might think, what's the difference between working into the loops and working between the stitches? And it's this little guy right here, that little 3rd loop there. We're going to be working below it, not above it, like when we work into stitches. So we'll be between the stitch rather than into the top of the stitch. Anyway, now we do yarn over because we're going to be making an extended double crochet. So we're going to go between those 2 stitches. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2 for extended double crochet. Chain 1, extended double crochet again into the same place. Chain 1, and make a 3rd extended double crochet into that same place between the 2 stitches. Again, you could use double crochet if you choose, but I think it looks nicer because it's more open. You get more credit for this, you know, chain 1 between the stitches. I think it's more beautiful. So I'm just going to say extended crochet from here on because that's what I'm doing. If you want to switch it out, that's up to you. Okay, so I have 3 stitches now. Every time you're working along a side, you're going to want 3 stitches separated by chain 1s. And every time you're working into a corner, you're going to want 5 stitches separated by chain 1s. And that's basically it. That's the whole pattern. So now we're going to chain 1, because every time we do this little anchor stitch, we're going to do a chain 1, a single crochet, and another chain 1. So we have our fan, we have our anchor, and we have our fan again. So our fan is 5 on the corner, 3 on the side. So I'm going to anchor this one, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 stitches, go between the stitches with a single crochet, chain 1, and now I'm ready to go into the corner chain space. So I'm going to make 5 extended double crochets into the corner chain space, each separated by a chain 1. So it's not a very complicated stitch, it just looks really beautiful when it's finished. And I love stitches like that look complex or look challenging, but they're actually quite easy to actually make. So I'm just doing a chain 1 between each stitch, and I'm making my extended double crochets until I get to 5. Right now I have 4. Sometimes you have to shift your stitches over a little bit if you're getting kind of running out of room, because this is only a chain 2 space that we're working these 5 stitches into, so sometimes you just need to give a little shift. All right, now we just need to do a chain 1 in preparation for anchoring into the next spot. Count 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Make your single crochet in between these 2 stitches. And then chain 1. So there's our little anchor, and then we're gonna make another side. So remember, the side fans only get 3 stitches, the corner fans get 5. So if I was continuing on, it would just be every 3 stitches do this same pattern along the edge. I know that I only have a very small square, so you're only seeing one side stitch, but you would just repeat this little guy over and over every 3 stitches. So let's make that one again. So I yarned over because I'm preparing to make an extended double crochet. I'm counting 3 stitches over and working between them, and I'm making my extended double crochet. I'm chaining 1, making another extended double crochet in the same spot between those stitches, chain 1, another extended double crochet in the same spot. There's my fan. And then I chain 1, then I anchor it with a single crochet, 3 stitches over in between, single crochet, chain 1, and then I'm going to make a corner fan. So I think you can see the pattern. So these are edge stitches, these are corner stitches. I'm going to do one more corner for you. Extended double crochet into the corner chain space, chain 1, extended double crochet, chain 1, extended double crochet, then chain 1, another extended double crochet, chain 1, and my 5th and last extended double crochet into the corner chain space. There we go. Now I just need to chain 1, single crochet into 1, 2, 3 right there, between the stitches, chain 1, make another side fan. So count 3, 1, 2, 3, go between, and make an extended double crochet, chain 1, another in the same spot, chain 1, another extended double crochet in the same spot, chain 1, single crochet, 1, 2, 3 stitches over, oops, 1, 2, 3 stitches over, chain 1, make another corner, and this would be the same way. Now that we're in the corner, we're going to pretend that we are working into, well, I guess we are going to be working into a odd number side version. So I will show you, it would be the same. You would still work into the corner chain space. So that's where you'd start. Extended double crochet, 5 of them into the corner chain space separated by chain 1. Wow, it's super windy today. I don't know if you can hear that on the video. We're having a windstorm. Okay, all into the chain space. I've now made 5 extended double crochets separated each by a chain 1. Now we're going to start working into the actual stitch rather than between the stitches. So in this case, we're going to skip 2 stitches and then work into the 3rd stitch. Now don't forget that this is a stitch. These bottoms of the stitch kind of cover the top of it, so it can be easy to forget about this stitch, but let's not forget about him. So I have 1, 2 stitches. I'm going to work into the 3rd, and we're going to do the same thing that we normally do. Chain 1, and instead of going between the stitches, we're just going to go into that stitch, into that 3rd stitch. 1, 2, 3, into the top of the stitch, make a single crochet. Now we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches. 1, 2. Oh, sorry, did I skip the right amount of stitches here? Yes, I went into the 3rd stitch here. So I skipped 1, 2, went into the 3rd. I'm going to do the same thing here. I have made my single crochet and chain one and yarned over in preparation to make an extended double crochet. Now I'm going to skip this stitch, skip the second stitch, and in this third stitch I'm going to make my extended double crochet. Chain one, make a second extended double crochet in the same stitch. And at this point we're going into the top two loops, we're not going between the stitches. Chain one, make a third extended double crochet in that same stitch. Chain one, and now we're going to anchor. So we've worked into this stitch, we're going to skip this next one, skip this second next one, and work into this third one. We're going to make a single crochet there. Chain one, and then now we're back to the corner. We would of course work our corner or keep working our sides every third stitch, depending how big our square is. But I've met myself back at the corner, so you'll see there are still two stitches and then the chain space. So if you have an odd number of stitches, that's how you'll work. You'll work into the tops of the stitches. If you have an even number, you'll work in between the stitches so that the math works out correctly. Now to finish the round, we just put our hook into the top of that first stitch, and that would be into this spot where we had the slip knot, and then the top of our stitch, we're just going to insert our hook there, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull that loop through the loop on our hook. So that finishes off the round. We can weave in our ends, and we've made our cute little border around our square. So now I will show you how to join as you go. So I have to kind of undo a little bit of my work, because remember the first one, you would work all the way around for your border. But I want to join as I go, and I'm going to be working into this one, which already has been worked all around the border. So I'm just going to quickly frog so that I can get back to a spot where I will start to do the join as you go. So where we're going to be joining is at the center of this side fans and the edges of the corner fans. And we're going to be working into this middle stitch on the side fans and the second stitch on the corner. So the second one here and the second one here. So those are the stitches we'll be joining into. So I'm just gonna undo my work until I'm at that point. So I'm gonna wanna undo it until I have that second stitch ready to go. So if I was, here, let's just start it from making the corner. So if you were creating the join as you go, you would work your corner, the side, the corner, the side, and then this is where you'll be. You'll be in the corner with this whole side, still no fans worked into it yet. So I'm gonna work 3 of my stitches basically. So I'm gonna do 3 extended double crochets separated by a chain 1, and then I'll be ready to start joining. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I've done my 3 extended double crochets separated by chain 1. I am going to want to do one more chain 1, but this 4th extended double crochet is the one that's going to join into the other square. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my loop off my hook. I'm going to insert my hook into the same stitch on this square. So remember, it's the second, we're going to be aligning it like this, right? So it's the second stitch from the edge, or the 4th stitch from this edge, but basically it's this stitch is the one you want. So we're going to insert our hook into that stitch, so into these 2 loops at the top of that stitch. We're gonna go grab our loop, pull it through, get our tension correct as if we're just working normally, and make our 4th extended double crochet into this corner. So yarn over, pull up our loop, and continue our stitch just like nothing's any different. Chain 1 and make our 5th extended double crochet into the corner. And what that does is it joins our 2 stitches. So if you look, the top of this stitch is right here, the top of this stitch is right here, and they're sort of intertwined right here because we unhooked our loop, pulled it up through the other stitch, and then continued to finish our stitch. So they're joined at the tops of both of those stitches. So now I'm going to continue my pattern for my border just as normal. Chain 1, working between the stitches, I'm going to make a single crochet, chain 1, I'm going to make my first extended double crochet, 1, 2, 3, between these stitches. But the next extended double crochet is the one that I need to work to join with the other square. So I'm going to make my chain 1, don't forget the chain 1, then remove your loop from your hook, insert your hook into the top of that stitch, reinsert or re-add your, pull up your loop through that stitch, yarn over, working into that same spot, make an extended double crochet, chain 1, and a 3rd extended double crochet. And I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 and anchor with our single crochet, just so we can kind of see what we did a little better. So here we go. We also have these 2 stitches, or these 2 fans joined at their top stitch. So this is the top loop of this stitch, and this is the top loop of this stitch, and they are intertwined. And I do have it working into the opposite color, to the contrast color, just so it's easier for you to see how that join is done. But you'll see when we do the tonal joins, where it's the same color going into the same color, it looks really beautiful. Like you see this sort of kind of S shape forming, the way that the stitches intertwine. It looks really beautiful. And then you get this nice little diamond space in between. All right, so let's continue. The last thing we have to join is this last corner. And we only need to join this side of the corner at this point. So we're gonna put our loop back on our hook, do our chain 1, because we always do a chain 1 after the single crochet. Now we're gonna work into our corner. So we're gonna work our first extended double crochet and a chain 1, and then stop, because then we have to do a join. So extended double crochet, chain 1, and now we need to remove that loop, insert our hook into this stitch, pull up that loop, the second extended double crochet, top of that stitch, pull up our loop, and then continue. So yarn over as normal, make an extended double crochet into the corner, and then we just continue our corner as normal. So chain 1 and extended 3 more extended double crochets with chain 1s between. One, 2, 3, 4, I need 1 more, chain 1. And we'll make make our extended double crochet. So now we have this whole side joined. So we have our corner joined at the side, these two fans joined at the center, and our other corner joined at the side of the fan. So that's our join, and it looks great. And I'm just gonna rework this side and then finish off as normal. That's what you would continue to do. So you would basically have two finished squares. Just go ahead and finish this off as usual. And then I'll show you how to join 4 squares together, because right now we've joined 2, but how do we join 2? Like, what do we do right here? I'll show you in a moment. Okay, I wanted to talk about what we do next. So say we have these 2 finished squares that are joined, and the next square we're gonna wanna join is this one. So what would we do? We would not work this corner yet because we're gonna have to join that there. So let's hold off on that one. We could either start in the side or start in this corner. I'm gonna start in the corner, and then I'm gonna work up to this point, just like we did for this square. And then the 4th square is where we do something a little bit different than this square. All right, I'll just show you though, even though it's the same as the last, I'll just show you one more time because it's a little bit confusing. So it's no harm in showing it again. All right, I'm gonna start at that corner and I'm gonna work up to this point and then I'll be back. All right, I've finished up to the point where I want to make my join. So I've done my corner, my side, my corner, my side, and I've started this corner and I've done 3 of the 5 extended double crochets into that corner. Now I need to chain 1 as I normally would between the stitches, and now I'm ready to make that 4th stitch. So I'm going to remove the loop. I want to join into this corner because it aligns this way. So I want to join into here. So I'm going to insert my hook into this stitch, into both loops at the top of the stitch. I'm going to go back to this, grab my loop, put it back on my hook, pull it through that stitch, and then I'm going to adjust my tension, yarn over, and continue on. I'm going to make my 4th extended double crochet into the corner. I'm going to chain 1 and make my 5th extended double crochet into the corner. So there we go. I have joined these 2 squares at one point. Now I need to continue and join them here and then over here. So I'm going to continue on with my border. I need to chain 1. I need to anchor into between these 3 stitches like usual with a single crochet, chain 1. Now I get to make the first extended double crochet in the 1, 2, 3 between these 2 stitches, and then a chain 1, and then I need to do that join again. So extended double crochet, chain 1, remove the loop. Now we're going to go into the top of the center extended double crochet, the center stitch, through both loops, grab my loop again, pull it through, yarn over, make my extended double crochet into that spot. Uh-oh, my yarn split. There we go. Chain 1. Make another extended double crochet to finish my fan. Because we're on the side, we're doing 3 stitches. Chain 1, join into the 1, 2, 3 between these 2 stitches with a single crochet. Chain 1, start my next corner, and I'm just going to do the first extended double crochet plus a chain 1. Now it's time to remove my loop. go into the second extended double crochet on this fan through both loops at the top of the stitch, replace my loop, pull it through, yarn over, and continue my fan as usual. So now I have 2, need to make 3 more to finish my fan with with chain 1s in between, don't forget those. One more. Chain 1, anchor with a single crochet. So we can see we've also joined this square now to that first square. So we first joined here, then we joined here. So I'm just going to continue the rest of my side, slip stitch to here, finish off, weave in all my ends, and then I'll show you how to join the last square, which is a little different because we have to join both sides. I just realized I didn't really show what to do after you slip stitch and finish off your border. I feel like if you're watching this video, you know, but maybe not. So here I'm gonna slip stitch to finish that border off. I'm going to cut my yarn, pull it out, and now I'm going to weave in my ends. And that will make it look nice and finished and secure all my ends so they don't unravel. So I'm using a darning needle or yarn needle or tapestry needle. It's all the same thing. It has a big eye, it's not sharp, and it's big enough to get yarn through. So now I have this yarn and I'm going to just weave it in whatever way makes sense to me. If there's no specific method, but I do like to finish it off in a corner like this here, because then you get a big expanse of stitches to weave it into that hides it and secures it pretty well. I'm not going to pull too tight because I want to keep my stitch looking nice there. Then I'm going to double back on itself by skipping 1 and then going back through part of that corner so that it kind of anchors but then is still hidden again, and that way that end can be just snipped off and we don't have to worry about it going anywhere. And then I have this other end that I started my border with. So sometimes I get real picky and I undo my slip knot because I don't like having knots, but that's fine. I don't really need to be that particular. So I'm also gonna just weave in my ends whatever way seems to make the most sense and go into the corner with my tail. And again, I'm gonna double back and go back through. It does make it bulkier there, but it's the best way I've found to get rid of the tails in a secure way. Snip off. And then we have a nice clean finish, no tails, no knots, no nothing. Okay, so now that we have our last square that we want to join, where do we want to work before we start doing the joining? You don't want to do this corner because it has to join here, and we kind of want to go in order, right? But we could do the sides or we could start at this corner. So just to make it very easy to remember, I'm going to start at the bottom left corner. Then I'm going to make my corner, my edge, my corner partially, and then I'm going to join to this corner. But I don't have to worry about any joining if I start at this corner and this side. When I get to this corner, I'm going to want to remember that I need to start joining. So I'll zoom in and start doing that. So slip knot on the hook and start my first corner, doing a standing extended double crochet. and four more extended double crochet. Here's my 5th extended double crochet into the corner, chain 1, skip 3 stitches, make a single crochet between them, chain 1, skip 3 stitches, work between them, extended double crochet, chain 1, extended double crochet, chain 1, my 3rd and final extended double crochet for this side fan. Now I need to do a corner fan. Actually, first I need to anchor, so count 1, 2, 3 stitches between them, single crochet, chain 1. Now I work part of my corner, so I'm gonna work the first 3 extended double crochets, and then the 4th will join to this square. So, extended double crochet, 1, chain 1, 2, chain 1, 3, and here's where we need to join, so don't forget that chain 1 before we remove our loop, and then go into the 2nd stitch here, or the 4th one if you're counting from the other side, but basically this stitch, we go into the top, we pull up our loop, and then we yarn over and can create our 4th extended double crochet into the chain space. And then we have our 5 fans. It's joined. Did I join at the right one? Yes. It's joined at the top of this stitch and the top of this stitch. Chain 1. Anchor. 1, 2, 3 stitches in between. Single crochet. And now we're going to work the fan along the side, but remember we have to join it to this fan along the side. So we're going to work our first extended double crochet, 1, 2, 3 between these stitches. Remember, if you're working into the stitch, you're just going to skip 2 stitches and work in the 3rd stitch. All right, we've done 1 extended double crochet, a chain 1, remove our loop, go into this middle stitch of the fan, go through both loops, at the top of the stitch, grab our loop, tighten our loop, yarn over, and make our 3rd extended double crochet in that same space. Chain 1, and make our 3rd extended double crochet in between those stitches in the same spot. Chain 1, and then 1, 2, 3 between the 3 stitches. We're going to do our single crochet, chain 1. Now we're going to make 1 extended double crochet into the corner, and then a chain 1, and then we got to join again. So 1 extended double crochet, chain 1, remove our loop. Now we want to join at the 2nd stitch, remember, this one, through both loops, grab our loop, pull it up, tighten, yarn over, create our 2nd extended double crochet into the corner, chain 1. Now this is a little different because we joined this on this side the same fan needs to join to here. So that's the only time you're joining in two spots, is when you're doing the fourth square into a corner of 4. So we joined at the second extended double crochet stitch. Now we're going to make our third, chain 1, and then we got to join again. So let's make our third extended double crochet into the corner, chain 1, and then hold up our loop. Come over here to this square. So we've joined to this square. Now we need to join to this square, right? So let's come to this corner of that square and go into the second stitch here through both loops. Reattach that loop, pull through, tighten it, yarn over, create our fourth extended double crochet back into the corner. Chain 1 and make our fifth extended double crochet in the corner. I'm just going to chain 1, count 3 stitches, and do that single crochet there, just so it's a little easier to look at what we've done. So now we have our join. We've been working this one corner fan, and at the second stitch we joined it to this second stitch. So these two joined, and then we worked over to this side and we joined this fourth one to this fourth one. Sorry, I don't know whether to call it the fourth stitch or the second, but it's the second in from the edge. It's the fourth one that we made. And then we get a cool little diamond in the center of where we join, because we have the sides of our fan joined. So we get kind of we get little diamonds along in between them, and like a wider kind of square in the center. So all that's left to do is to join along this side and then finish off our border over here. So we left off at the anchor right after this fan. So now we chain 1 and we start our new fan. So 1, 2, 3 in between the stitches, make an extended double crochet, chain 1, and then remove our loop, go into this fan, go to the middle stitch. So this one, the stitch is kind of leaning, but you still want the middle one. 1, 2, 3, you want the second one. Go into that stitch, right in the top of that stitch, pull up that loop. Come on, there we go. Yarn over and create our second extended double crochet in our fan. So we've done 1, we chained 1, we attached, and now we're going to do our second extended double crochet, and then chain 1, and then, sorry, do our third extended double crochet for the side fan, chain 1, and then do our little anchor, 1, 2, 3, a single crochet between these stitches, or into your stitch, depending on which type you're doing. And then now we have these ones connected, these ones connected. We still have to connect this last corner, but just here, just in one spot. So can you guess what we do? We make 1 extended double crochet here, chain 1, and now for the second one we need to attach. So we're going to skip this first one and then go into the second stitch, grab our loop, pull it through, tighten down, yarn over, make our extended double crochet, oops, got a little overzealous, there we go, and then chain 1 and make 2 three more extended double crochet. So we have 1, 2, we need to make 3 more with chain 1 between, just like a normal corner. We're done with all the joining. And then the 5th extended double crochet into the corner, chain 1, count 3 stitches in between, make our single crochet, chain 1, and then we finish off as normal. So we're just gonna count 3 in between the stitches, make 3 extended double crochets separated by chain 1s. So this goes not too slowly. I've definitely done more difficult joins. So it's kind of fun that we can have such a, beautiful non-straight border and we can still find a way to join it together. Chain 1, do my single crochet in between the stitches, chain 1, then slip stitch back into that first stitch, maybe tighten it a bit, and pull out and cut our yarn, and then I'm gonna finish it off like I did before. But basically, we are done. So that's how we do. I know it looks a little funny having this other color, but it was so that you can see like what's happening, and also to show that a contrast border is really pretty. So you can see that it looks really nice with all one color. And if you had all of these borders in white, it would also look really pretty. So you can do whichever you want. You can have a contrast color or not. But I really like the texture of how these connect, and see how it kind of looks twisted? Because we always join these the same direction. So it's always crossing over right to left, top to down, everywhere. So it kind of makes this almost like braided or twisted effect where the edge of the stitches are. So I think that's just gorgeous. So that is the open fan border and how to join as you go if you're using the open fan border. And I hope it's okay that I use such small squares, but once you see what you do with a side, you know that you just keep repeating that along the side. And we got to see what we do in all the corners, which I think is helpful. So that's that. And then I will, at some point, show you how to make this square, which I'm hoping you'll help me name maybe, because I don't have a name for it yet. I was considering maybe Dreaming of Spring, because it's winter time and I like to garden, and I started with a little flower motif. So that could be a name for it. Or I also was thinking Lenten Rose Square, because a Lenten rose is a hellebore, and a hellebore is a flower that blooms in late winter, and I designed this in winter time. I don't know, but if you have any good suggestions, I like making the patterns, but I have such a hard time naming them, and everyone has such beautiful names for their patterns on Ravelry and on their blogs. Like, I don't know, I just liked it to have a pretty name too, because it's such a pretty square. So tutorial upcoming for that, but now you know how to do the border, and you can use this border again on any square, any blanket, anything you've crocheted really that is, flat, or even in the round, like the end of a sleeve maybe. Like if you had a sleeve and you wanted to do a cool border on it, as long as it's the right amount of stitches around. So yeah. All right, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I'll be back with more. I have next coming a pillow cover tutorial that's really, really easy, a lot less complicated than this. So look forward to that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and definitely check out the description in my videos so that you can get all the links, and check out that other video I mentioned. And also, feel free to share this video with anyone you think who would like it, and I'll see you next time. Happy crafting!